It all started on a bright Saturday morning in Maplewood Crest, a sleepy, manicured suburban neighborhood where the lawns were trimmed to perfection, and the air always smelled faintly of fresh mulch and HOA regulations. My 10-year-old daughter, Lily, had spent the entire week planning for this morning, her first ever lemonade stand. She had drawn up colorful signs with glittering crayons, squeezed fresh lemons with the help of her grandmother, and carefully counted her change from a repurposed cookie tin. Her stand was made out of painted cardboard and decorated with sunflowers, complete with a handwritten sign that read, "Lily's Lemon Love, $1 a cup." She set it up right at the edge of our front yard, just off the sidewalk, still well within our property line, but close enough to catch the eye of joggers and dog walkers on their morning routines. My wife, Angela, and I watched proudly from the porch, sipping coffee as Lily excitedly served her first few customers. Then came Patricia Granger. Patricia was the HOA president of Maplewood Crest. In her late 50s, she carried herself like a military commander in a floral blouse. She had appointed herself guardian of suburban order and had been known to fine people for having a bird bath that didn't match the neighborhood's color palette. I noticed her from across the street, marching with a clipboard clutched tightly to her chest and a disapproving expression already forming. Her lips were pursed as though she could taste a violation in the air before she even crossed the street. She didn't address me. She went straight to Lily. "Young lady," Patricia barked, "do you have a permit for this stand?" Lily looked up with wide eyes, clutching her pitcher nervously. "A permit?" Angela stepped off the porch immediately. "Is there a problem, Patricia?" she asked, voice calm but firm. Patricia turned slowly. "Yes, Angela, there is. This stand violates several community guidelines and sanctions sales, unapproved signage, obstruction of pedestrian pathways." "She's 10, I said from the steps. "She's selling lemonade on her own lawn. Let her be a kid." Patricia sniffed. "Rules are rules. You should know that. I'll be reporting this to the board. Expect a notice by Monday." Lily was already tearing down her sign. "Sweetheart, wait," Angela said gently. But Lily shook her head and sat down quietly on the porch, her joy gone. My hands clenched into fists. That night, I drafted a letter to the HOA requesting clarification on what rules, if any, prohibited children from operating a lemonade stand. I received no response. Instead, on Tuesday, we received an official citation, $150 fine for an authorized commercial activity. Patricia had followed through. I called the HOA office and requested a meeting. The woman on the phone hesitated when I mentioned Patricia's name, then said she'd get back to me. She never did. It became clear that Patricia ran Maplewood Crest like her personal kingdom, and no one dared challenge her. Until now, Angela and I sat down with Lily and explained what we planned to do. Lily, bless her kind heart, said, "It's okay, I don't need a lemonade stand." "No," I told her, "you do, and we're going to make sure you can have one." We started collecting evidence. I took photos of every home with seasonal decorations, unapproved signs, or neighborhood kids selling cookies or crafts. We documented Patricia's selective enforcement and inconsistencies. Angela dug into HOA bylaws, which were vague at best and clearly didn't prohibit what Lily was doing. And then we reached out to someone who could actually help, Mayor Rachel Monroe. Rachel had grown up in Maplewood Crest. She knew how Patricia operated. More importantly, she was a champion of small business, kids' initiatives, and community freedom. I sent her an email with everything we'd documented. 2 days later, I got a call. "This is Rachel Monroe," she said warmly. "Tell Lily to get that stand back up. I'm coming by Saturday." Saturday morning arrived with clear skies and the scent of fresh lemons once again filling our driveway. Lily was hesitant at first, her small hands fidgeting with the corners of a new sign, now upgraded with waterproof markers and bolder lettering. "Lily's Lemon Love, $1 a cup," now with Mayor's approval. Angela and I helped her set up the stand right where it had been before. This time, however, we added a fold-out table, a beach umbrella for shade, and a cooler with extra pitchers. Neighbors who had previously looked the other way now approached with smiles and support. Mr. Thompson from 3 doors down handed Lily a crisp $20 bill and told her to keep the change. At 10:15 a.m., a black town car pulled up. Out stepped Mayor Rachel Monroe, wearing a yellow sundress and aviator sunglasses. She walked straight to Lily's stand and bought the first official cup of lemonade. "This is the best lemonade I've had in years," she said, raising her cup in a toast. "Maplewood Crest should be proud." Patricia Granger appeared moments later, storming up the sidewalk like a thundercloud in kitten heels. "This is highly irregular," she snapped. "You're encouraging an authorized activity on HOA grounds." The mayor turned calmly. "Hello, Patricia. I reviewed the HOA charter and the county ordinances. There is nothing preventing a child from selling lemonade on her own property." "But," Patricia sputtered. Furthermore, the mayor added, "I've spoken with the HOA legal team. Any further fines issued over this will be considered harassment and ground for a formal complaint with the city." The small crowd that had gathered began to murmur in support. "Thank you, Mayor," someone called. Lily beamed. Angela wrapped her arm around my shoulder. Patricia stood frozen, caught between outrage and humiliation. The mayor bought a second cup. That afternoon, Lily made over $400. More importantly, she learned what it meant to stand up for herself, with support, love, and just a little bit of lemon justice. And Patricia? She didn't dare issue another citation. Not after her precious HOA received a formal warning from the city. But that was just the beginning of her fall from power. The following week in Maplewood Crest was unusually quiet. No HOA notices, no clip warnings about trash cans left out too long, no petty citations about lawn height. Patricia Granger's silence was louder than any of her past enforcement. But underneath that silence, Patricia was seething. We found out from a neighbor, Mrs. Callahan, who had once been fined for planting tulips instead of HOA-approved azaleas, that Patricia had sent an email to the entire HOA board late Sunday night. In it, she ranted about community decay, lack of respect for protocol, and how we were setting a dangerous precedent by allowing unauthorized commerce. She ended the email by demanding an emergency board meeting to reassert her authority. Only one person responded. "Maybe it's time we talk about your authority, Patricia." That reply came from Dan Alvarez, the treasurer. It was the crack in her crown. By Wednesday, word had spread that multiple board members were quietly meeting without Patricia. Stories began surfacing. How she had fined a veteran for flying an American flag on the wrong holiday, how she'd shut down a kids' bake sale fundraiser, even how she'd made the HOA pay for custom blinds for her home under the guise of community uniformity. We weren't the only family she had targeted. Angela and I decided it was time to take it one step further. We printed out everything: the photos of Lily's stand, the original fine, the documentation showing Patricia's bias. We compiled testimony from neighbors and even included Mayor Monroe's statement. Then we made 50 copies. That Friday, we distributed the packets door to door. No dramatic language, no personal attacks, just facts, dates, and official HOA bylaw references. We ended each with a simple question: is this the leadership Maplewood Crest deserves? By Monday, the HOA forum was full. Dozens of residents showed up, some for the first time in years. Patricia walked in dressed sharply, trying to command the room with a tight smile and a loud gavel. But no one clapped. No one nodded. Not even her allies. Dan Alvarez stood up and read from a prepared statement. We, the undersigned board members, motioned to hold a vote of no confidence in the current president based on misconduct, harassment, and abuse of authority. The room erupted in quiet gasps. Patricia's eyes darted across the crowd, but no one came to her defense. Not this time. And when the votes were counted, the result was unanimous. Patricia Granger was officially removed from her position. She stood up stiffly, muttering something about lawsuits and libel, and stormed out. For once, her clipboard was left behind. Outside, neighbors shook hands. Some even hugged. A sense of relief drifted through the cul-de-sac like a long-awaited summer breeze. Maplewood Crest was finally free. The days after Patricia's removal were unlike anything Maplewood Crest had seen in years. Without her iron grip, the neighborhood began to breathe again. Kids played on the sidewalks without fear of getting a notice. Neighbors started waving at each other more. It felt less like a managed facility and more like a true community. Lily's lemonade stand remained up every weekend. She upgraded it with help from Angela, new signage, eco-friendly cups, even a loyalty punch card. People started coming not just for the lemonade, but for the sense of warmth her little corner created. Some even called it the new heart of the neighborhood. Then, something unexpected happened. At the next HOA meeting, Dan Alvarez approached us with a smile. "We've been talking," he said. "We'd like to create a new committee, one that includes residents of all ages. And we were hoping Lily would consider being our honorary junior chair." Lily's eyes lit up. She nodded shyly, cheeks red with pride. That's how the Maplewood Youth Voices Committee was born. It gave kids a say in how events were planned, what public spaces could be used for, and most importantly, it gave them confidence. As for Patricia, she eventually sold her house and moved to a retirement community rumored to have a very strict rulebook, which, we all agreed, suited her just fine. In her place, the board appointed a new president, Mr. Thompson, the neighbor who gave Lily the $20 bill. Under his leadership, the HOA became more transparent, fair, and involved with the people it served. One sunny Saturday, as Lily served lemonade and waved to Mayor Monroe on her morning jog, I looked around at the street full of laughter, conversation, and life. All of this because one little girl decided she wanted to share something sweet with the world. Sometimes, the smallest stands make the biggest difference.